Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Saturday, March 2nd, 2019. My name is Rich, and joining me once again this week is Bijan. How are you making out?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. And want to know why I'm doing great?
Let's hear it, bro.
I have my brace off, and I am able to walk without crutches, and I am hobbling my butt around the house.
Hey, that's awesome, man. More importantly, getting exercise and being kind of free, right?
Exactly. I am so excited. I get out of the house for the first time in forever, despite all the ice. Managed to make it around to get to the doctor, and I got the go-ahead to start physio and start getting this thing rehabbed and getting mobile again.
Nice, man. Really, congrats. That's awesome. And more importantly than that, I was unaware of this. I think the world was unaware of this. But what is going on with this facial hair story?
So I didn't tell anybody, including Bijan. My family knew, obviously, because they had to look at it all the time. But
I feel for your wife.
Shave for the whole time that I was laid up. I decided early on that, you know what? I am not going to shave the beard until I can get rid of the brace. So I posted the resulting pics to my Facebook the other day, and it got quite a reaction because it was a big old grizzled beard.
It's horrifying. You look like a dude with like an axe or something that's gonna just I don't know. Let's just say you look scary.
Thanks.
Yeah. I'm glad to give you compliments, bro. But seriously, props. That's an impressive beard. I gotta say. Did you cut it off, or are you growing it out more?
Oh, I did. When I posted the pic of what it looks like right now. So I've got the.
Oh, I thought that was the before. I thought that was
No, that's the after. I cut it all down.
Oh.
Now that I had the brace off, I'm looking respectable again. My mother is very happy, and
I'm sure.
Good. But yeah, this week we're actually not going to be covering ANW Junior to get into the heart of the episode here. We're going to hold off until next week. Had a little bit of technical difficulties in getting the episode up here in the Great White North, unfortunately. But we have lots to talk about anyway, because we are going to be talking about the ANW11 Walkon rule changes that we just discovered, and ANW Fantasy as well, which is back, and the deadline is rapidly approaching.
Dude, super close.
Yeah, so make sure you get your picks in. We are going to be talking about ours and a little more info on that for those that aren't familiar with it from our previous years participating in it. It's very, very fun, very, very cool. But first, the walk-on rule changes. A very interesting change and kind of long overdue, to be honest. For those, actually, if you watch ANW, you know the walk-on line because they've made a huge deal out of it over the years. But it's been a thing where how do you do that fairly, right? There are people that, maybe can take 4 weeks off of work to go sit in line for these competitions. And should they get a spot over someone that, doesn't have that extra time, but maybe works extra hard at Ninja? Should there be a competition? There's been a lot of debate over the years within the community on how is the fair way to do that. What do you before we get into what the new rule is?
It can be controversial.
Yeah, Bijan, do you think it was good in the past, or?
I don't, but it's one of those situations where I firmly believe if you're really going to criticize something harshly, you better come up with a better solution. So it's difficult, right? But I think it's also fair to point out some flaws. And there is a lot of, intrinsic issues. I live in San Diego. Get to LA, that's a good 2 hours, right? But even that is different from somebody that lives in LA and can just, when we talk about the walk-on and people camping out and stuff, if you really want to break it down, I don't know how it is everywhere, but at least in LA, it's more of you check in, you show up every day at a certain time, you write your name on a list saying hey, I'm still in LA, and then you go back to doing whatever you do. And I'm cool with that because honestly, you have to live your life. Not everybody can just camp out. But what about somebody that lives in California or I don't know, Oregon or something that's in the West Coast? This is a region, but they don't have that that closeness to where they can just like stop on by and spend like a month, continuously checking in. So it goes back and forth, man. I understand the dedication, and really, if you spend that much time, you really should run. But not everybody gets that chance. So, yeah, I mean, it's tough. By the way, like last year, for the LA qualifiers, I'm trying to remember, but there really weren't that many people that even, like, that were from the walk-ons that even got a chance to even run on the damn course. I think it was like 10.
Yeah, I think that's pretty typical. It's only, 10 to 15 most times. And you don't know, right?
Dude,
it's
that
very
sucks.
last minute. It can be all over the place.
Yeah.
It's not a great way to get on the show to begin with, right? It really should be your last option.
I don't know if I consider this spoiled or something, but it's something I would never do. Which means even more props to the people that would do that. But,
I appreciate the
with all that
dedication.
dedication, that's tough. Especially if they don't actually get to be on the show, right?
I think it needs to be channeled differently, and I think there's not enough appreciation. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm speaking from what I've seen over the years, and kind of as a fan of the show, what we've seen. I think your efforts are better spent in making a better video, right? Like if you've got that extra time, you've got to give them what they want. You've got to find the angle, find how to make your story and how to make your video the most compelling that you can. And I think that would be a better use of your time. You might be the greatest ninja of all time, but you need to be entertaining at the end of the day.
I think that's the nail. Like you hit it right on the head. Unfortunately, in my experiences with, some of the ninjas, not all of them, but some ninjas and everything, people do not understand that this is a television show first. And I understand competition and all that stuff. But if you just go in there straight-faced, fully focused on a competition and you give them nothing, that's not going to get you on the show. That really isn't going to do anything for them.
Yeah, I mean, at least now there are options for those people. If you are a straight athlete, ninja as a competition, think that the show dilutes it shouldn't be about the stories and all that stuff. National Ninja League, Rockford Ninja Warrior, there are lots of competitions for you now where you don't have to worry about the cameras and everything else that, and making those videos. You go and it is a straight up sport. You compete at your level and prove that you're one of the top ninjas on a very fair course against everybody else.
Very good point.
So let's get into it. So that was before. Everybody, had to check in. I think in the past, I think that was added in a couple of years ago to try to minimize the camping out and everything else that was going on before that.
That was more recent seasons. Even before that, I think it was, it could be wrong. I don't know. But I actually think it was like how we showed on TV where it is people camping out for like weeks. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think they had time. They would agree to leave for times, to get showers and go do different things. But that was, anyway, that was the past. So the future of ANW now, ANW11 Plus. We are looking at a lottery system, which means that, let me get the actual statement up here from the production company. This season, in an effort to provide people who can't take weeks away from work a chance to run the course, we're adopting a lottery system. Anyone interested in walking on the ANW course is invited to meet production at a predetermined time and location to be announced approximately 1 week in advance. Everyone that is on location by the announced time will write their name on a slip of paper or ticket as provided by production. Production will randomly select 20 names. The winners will be selected as the walk-ons and will be invited to compete in the order that their names are selected. So yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Well, give your full thoughts.
My full thoughts are they should have said this a month ago. So people like Puerto Rico Rivera were not lined up unnecessarily and debating all this as they do every year. I'm very sorry for Rico and the others that have been waiting in LA for nothing, apparently.
I did not consider that, but yeah, wow. That really is unfortunate for them, huh?
Yeah, Atlanta had already lined up as well, but LA got the worst of it, obviously, because they are filming here very, very soon. But my thoughts are it's exactly what they needed. And I know it sucks. I would love for the best ninjas to get picked out as well. Some form of competition, some kind of minimum qualification maybe would make sense. But we don't have that. We have a lottery system. And yeah, maybe some pudgy guy like me who likes the show is just like, I'd love to go on and just fall off the first step. That would be cool. Maybe that's not the best use of their time, but it could be entertaining. It could be something, it could add to the show in a way we don't expect. We don't know, right? And there was no merit system before for those that are against it, right? You could go in the walk-on line if you had the time and be number one as just a regular Joe Schmo with no hope of running, getting very far in the course anyway. So that really hasn't changed. So yeah, overall, I think it's a great change. I think it was the way to go. You'll never make everyone happy, but I think this is the best system that we can to make it fair for everyone.
I think this particular rule change tackles two big controversial dynamics. One is the fact that there is a predetermined number of walk-on competitors. No longer is it a question mark. Okay, so is it going to be 5 walk-ons? Is it going to be 20 walk-ons? Is it going to be how many is going to be like? Is there a chance that I'll be on? Now, the walk-ons it's preset, I believe, to 20. You said correct?
I did, but I don't think that necessarily means that all 20 are going to run. It just means that they're picking 20.
They're picking 20. Okay. Well, at the very least, now there's not a whole group of people giving their hopes up, and really, it gives the walk-ons a good set time to train. When you think about the rules and how they're being labeled now, it kind of sounds like a lottery system where people can just I can just from home, in San Diego, be like, oh, well, I'll give it a try. Everybody's got a shot, like Willy Wonka or whatever. That's not necessarily the dynamic. And I'm really appreciating the small little detail that I don't think is being, heralded enough, is that the ninjas have to meet up 1 week before the tapings and meet at a predetermined area and time. That means you have to go out of your way to show that you're serious about this and really, I guess, basically check in, right? Being like, I'm here, I'm ready to go, this is my shot. It's not something where Joe Schmo can just be at home doing it from their couch. And I understand it goes against that whole dynamic of, oh, well, some people can't make it out. But hey, if you're serious about it, now you're not waiting out every single day for a month or anything like that. Now it's literally meet out 1 week before tapings, which is close enough to it all. Because if you are chosen, it's not necessarily you're going for one night and you meet up and everybody and do like a competition and everything. You have to meet up 3 days beforehand, do interviews, do shoots, like photo shoots. There's a whole rigmarole with this. So it does take time. So I think this gives, everybody a good amount of time to prepare for these additional 20 potential athletes participating in this and getting their story told. So all around, I'm cool with it. I understand completely if somebody has a different viewpoint of being like fair is fair. These walk-ons earned it by showing their dedication for waiting for so long. But honestly, I just don't think that's healthy. And it's gotten worse and worse over the past years in terms of how long people have waited. People have to live their lives. If you're really spending almost a month just camping out and waiting for a shot on the show, I think there's a better and healthier way of doing that.
All right, so if you have your own opinions on the walk online, if you have your own experiences, please let us know. We'd love to hear what you have to say about it. We'll give our contact information at the end of the episode, as always. But moving on, let's talk about our ANW Fantasy teams, our ongoing competition to find out who actually is the champ.
Let's be real. I'm the champ, and we all know it.
So for those that don't realize, every year, ANWFantasy.com has a competition where you can win $250 by picking the top 5 ninjas for the season. So because everything is filmed so far in advance, that means you actually have to have your picks in by March 6th before the ANW tapings, for the before the LA tapings take place. So get your picks in right now if you haven't.
Time's a ticking, y'all. You got 1 week at this point. Do it now. Once you're hearing this, log on and do it. And Rich, I forget who won the ANW Fantasy about 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, one person may have, so someone that may be able to vouch for it.
Huh.
And how many times have you won since then or come close?
Semantics are semantics. Who won 2 seasons ago?
Yeah, you got the first one.
Champ is here!
But this year is my year. I have made team left field. I'm calling them. I am making picks that I hope guarantees me a spot by, just picking some interesting people. I want to get a dark horse win here.
Okay, well, let's hear them. Actually, should we go back and forth, or how are we doing this?
We'll go back and forth.
Okay. So, number 5 spot or number 1 spot? Honestly, let's do number 1 spot because that's more obvious.
I mean, I didn't put mine in any particular order. So
okay.
So first off, I guess, what's your team name?
Bijan's picks.
All right.
And then in parentheses, the champ.
All right. I knew you had to have the champ in there somewhere. So who you got at your first spot?
I mean, let's be real. It's only one particular person that, well, really 2 is at the top of ANW right now. But number 1 is Drew Dreshel. I mean, what can you say? I don't need to spend forever talking about him. He is shown time and time again that he is at the top of this, sport. I'm sure Jeff Britton and Isaac Caldiero might have something to say about that, but
right.
They've taken some time off. So as of right now, Drew Dreshel, top of the heap, and in particular this year, I'm going for competitors that I fully believe can complete the entire course, but in particularly are going to make it to stage 3.
Yeah, we have a lot of contenders, and actually, the way I ended up picking my list was I couldn't narrow down those top contenders, and Drew is right there, right? He is primed to take down the whole thing, and we're all just waiting for it to happen. So it's a very obvious and solid pick. I decided that Austin Gray is my number 1 pick. He is one of the fantastic rookies that we had last season. He's part of the He's one of the Wolfpack Ninjas. A great competitor, and someone that I fully expect we'll have on the podcast with us here in the next month. Actually, we've been going back and forth a little bit.
Oh,
so
nice.
We'll have his take on ANW Junior at that point.
I'm really interested in Austin Gray. Sorry to cut you off, Rich. I'm just going to say Austin Gray is one of these really young, hungry competitors that I think is going to have a breakout performance and really impress a lot of people. Austin Gray, don't forget Kyle Soderman, people like that. A lot of names that are very, very big outside of ANW proper right now, but they have the potential to be like the kid, Matisse Awadi, in terms of just like crazy breakout performances. I question the experience to get to stage 3, but he has all the potential in the world. So we'll see.
Cool. So who is your number 2?
Joe Morosky, talking about experience. I mean, tried and true. You got to go with where results show. And Joe Morosky, is always consistently impressive, scientific, and breaking down every single obstacle and being so precise in doing it. I mean, for me, Joe Morosky and Drew Dreshel are hallmarks on the top 5 for me, and it would take a lot for them to be removed. Joe Morosky, the biggest shock of the last season was the fact that he fell where he did. And I think that's far more of an aberration than a norm. So I think he is going to 100% take it. I think he's going to be really driven this year.
Yeah, I think Joe is actually the ninja to watch this year above everyone else. Joe is the kind of guy that is not going to take that fall lightly, and I think he is going to be very hungry this year to prove that he can either take down the whole course, or he is my pick to be the last man standing for sure, even though he's not on my team. Because my team is team left field. And from that left field, my second pick is Matisse Awadi.
Matisse. Is that really left field, though, right now? Like,
well, I mean, to be fair, this whole list is full of ninjas that are top ninjas. I fully believe all of them are totally capable of going stage 3, stage 4. These are very, very top ninjas. Matisse is just maybe not at the top of everyone's list because he's inexperienced. So Austin, Matisse, those types of competitors are the ones I looked at. Ones that I think could just surprise us, the way Jeff did, coming out of left field in his, second season to just blow us away.
I'm really curious about the response of Matisse Awadi in just the overall fandom. Not necessarily the diehards, but the maybe the diehards is what I want to hear about. Just because he's so well respected and everything, but he got so much airtime, I worry that he's going to be pegged in with a Casey Catanzaro response. And I think it would take, maybe 2 seasons of that, but it could become overburdened. And he does not deserve any of that, but I just know how trolls are on the internet, bro. So I'm more curious about Matisse's story when it comes to his sophomore season.
The reverse Nicholas Coolidge effect.
Oy. Yeah.
So who do you got as your number 3?
Number 3 is this little ninja here that's really trying his hardest, bless his heart. His name is Jeff Britton. I know probably you guys haven't heard of him, but
up-and-comer.
Yeah, he's really good. Like, so good, in fact, he's the first ever American Ninja Warrior. Yes. Jeff Britton. He's amazing, but he, no disrespect or anything, he does have a big question mark on his back in the fact of, like Isaac Caldiero, he took a break off, and I just want to see if he has any ring rust, or not even if that's the right term, but just, how is Jeff Britton going to take on these new obstacles? I haven't seen him yet do Wingnut Alley. I haven't seen him do some of these newer ninja killers. So it could be a thing where he's taken out early on something like, I don't know, the Double Dipper or something like that. You just never know. But at the same time, Jeff Britton is somebody that obviously I feel like if he gets to stage 3, I mean, you might be seeing him complete the whole thing again. And that's really exciting. More than anything else, I'm just really excited to see Jeff Britton back on ANW proper and, kind of see what he's made of right now. Because in the local competitions, after he won the full thing, he was still so good.
He was. That's what kind of leads me to believe that he's still going to have it, right? We saw him continue on that success beyond the show, but he has had a break. He is my most anticipated competitor this season for sure. He is who I want to see more than anyone else, to see what he can do, to see him go as far as he can. And let us know, I guess, was it a one-time thing, or can he do it again? Can he go deep or all the way? I mean, it is going to be a fun season.
Yeah. When it comes to Jeff, shockingly, maybe like Isaac Caldiero, but not to the same degree. I think Isaac's even more so when it comes to this extreme. But I think with Jeff, really pay attention to his stage 1 and 2 run if he makes it to Vegas, because I think that's going to be pivotal to his story for that season. I think if he makes it to stage 3, you are looking at the very least last man standing.
All right, so my third ninja is a little guy that, you may have heard of. He does fairly well, in ninja competitions in general. Adam Rail is my number 3 pick.
Yes. I just got to break faith or just pull the sheet back and say, Adam Rail was my last pick until the very last minute. Brilliant pick. And I'm so glad at least he's represented on your team. So give your thoughts, bro.
Yeah, Adam has consistently won. I can't even call them local competitions, right? National Ninja League had hundreds of the top ninjas competing in it. And he was the only one to go to stage 3. He was the only one in an extremely difficult course to go that far. We know he's won, Wolfpack Ninja Tours. He's won Rockford Ninja Warrior, I believe. I can't even remember all of them. It seems like his name is always up there. And not just on the podium, which would be impressive enough, just winning them, just outright dominating in these competitions over and over again. There is no ninja on American Ninja Warrior that has a resume even close to what he has and not gotten the airtime and actually the results, to be fair, the full results of his capabilities in Vegas.
Yeah. His accolades speak for themselves, but the addendum to that is, when I say his accolades, in particular, I'm talking about his accolades outside of American Ninja Warrior proper. Adam Rail, if I recall correctly, he has never made it to stage 3, and that is almost insane to think about when you think about just how talented this guy is. So for me, I have to look back at history, and it's kind of like the Isaac Caldiero factor until he won. And I think Adam Rail has the potential to really, it's kind of icky to like compare him to Isaac just because of they're very, very different people outside of ANW. But what I mean by that is Isaac Caldiero was always somebody that would make these small mistakes in stages 1 and 2, and he would fall, and everybody would be like, oh man, he has such great potential of winning the whole thing. And when he finally made it to stage 3, he did complete the whole thing. Adam Rail, similar things. Like last season, he made a small mistake on the salmon ladder, falls. The season before that, I think he fell on Wingnut Alley and falls. It was the small mistakes that would always get him. And he's so much better to those capabilities because we've seen it. And many times it's almost where he's too good. If I remember correctly, the salmon ladder, he made a mistake, but it was almost like because he was too good. He overshot it too much. So Adam Rail, it's a situation where I am so excited to see what he can do because I fully believe he can win the whole thing, but I have to see him actually get there.
Yeah, and hopefully this will be the season we do get to see that. We get to see him go even further than he has. I mean, Wingnut Alley is respectable. That is where most of the top ninjas go out, to be honest. Mm-hmm. But I'd love to see him get it past it and to cement himself as as one of the very top echelon.
I think he's top. Like, honestly, if he goes into any other competition that's not American Ninja Warrior proper, my top pick is Adam Rail. Let's be clear. So yeah, my next pick is these last two. I mean, it could have been a variety of ninjas. I still believe 100% that Josh Levin, he makes it to stage 3, he's winning the whole thing. And a few other ninjas were on the top of my mind. But for my number 4 pick, I have to go with what, the last 2 seasons have shown me. And Sean Bryan has that special factor where he has just been amazing. And I cannot give him the disservice of sleeping on him again. This guy has made it to stage 3 2 seasons in a row and absolutely crushed it. He knows how to complete that Wingnut Alley and knows how to complete that Double Dipper, those 2 big ninja killers. So at the very least, Sean Bryan is making it to stage 3. And, I mean, come on, Rich. You've seen those biceps. I mean, dude is just built. So he has the potential of completing stage 3.
Yeah, and the same way that you feel about me including Adam Rail and that he gets the recognition, I feel that with Sean Bryan. I'm very glad that you have him on your list. Because like I said, I feel like we have slept on him long enough. He is definitely one of the best ninjas out there and fully deserving to be on one of our teams. I'm really excited to see if he can keep the momentum going, because if he goes stage 3 again, everybody's got to recognize how amazingly talented he is.
100%.
My next pick is someone you mentioned not that long ago, actually, as one of those people to watch out for. Kyle Soderman is the next guy on my list.
Yes.
For those that aren't aware, Kyle was one of the Beastmasters on Ultimate Beastmaster. He also joined us for an episode of the podcast. Guy is super competitive, an extremely talented ninja. And the only reason we didn't see him last season was unfortunately contractually couldn't compete on Beastmaster, and then ANW so closely after. But with that lifted, I am very confident we will see him on this season, and I feel like he will do amazing.
Yeah, we saw him on Ninja vs. Ninja, and he really showed off. He's got personality for days, charisma for days, and talent. He's very, very fast and very talented in a lot of the transition and upper body obstacles. I mean, he really has all the factors there is to be a big star. At the very least, I think you're going to see a lot of Kyle Soderman. I think the producers and everybody involved with the show really know this guy has the potential to be a major, major star.
Yeah, he's very competitive and very hungry, and I think he will give everything this season to show where he belongs.
That's a good pick, man. I mean, man, yeah, really, like, when you think about it, American Ninja Warrior is really... There's not much room for, like, no-name people or people with no personality. I mean, it's packed full of stars now. And if not stars, people that have the potential to be stars. I'm really excited for this upcoming season, thinking about it, bro. So, final pick. We're down to the final nitty-gritties. A lot of people. Daniel Gill, a lot of them, that I didn't pick, or that I could have picked. But, I have to go back to what I have seen recently, and Najee Richardson, man, he is just on fire. Dude has been so good, so consistently adept to, like, dealing with any of these crazy obstacles, in particular, the stage 1 and 2 obstacles. I mean, the dude just knows how to complete them. He had kind of a little hold up in stage 2 last year when it came to the dunk walls. I think that's what they're called. But really, when you hear about the story of what happened and he had an asthma attack while in the water and everything, I mean, the fact that he was actually able to continually move forward and dunk his head underneath the water and hold his breath while having an asthma attack, that shows a next level of mental fortitude. So, yeah, Najee Richardson... you all know how talented he is, but I really, really think he has the potential. I fully believe he's making it to stage 3, and he has the potential of completing stage 3.
Cool. Hard to disagree with that. Najee was on my team last year, I believe. He is one of my favorites and one of the most talented ninjas out there. Like you said, his ability to just take down the obstacles that we see so many people fail on, Wingnut Alley in particular, he's just phenomenal and so entertaining. And my last pick is someone that has been around for years, does consistently well, and I just feel like even though he does get little segments here and there, is still not fully appreciated for how talented he is, and that is Carson Voiles.
Oh, nice.
So Carson, I know is in top form because he just did amazingly well at the National Ninja League. He's somebody that I've always been keeping an eye on. He does extremely well on Team Ninja Warrior and other race shows. He's just a phenomenal ninja and someone that I think is just due for a breakout year.
Yeah, I mean, he's really consistent, and I think he's going to do quite well. I worry that he's going to get a little bit of a Nicholas Coleridge thing where, we've got very bombastic personalities. But Voiles is a known entity, so maybe he won't be. Carson, just saying, have a storyline for yourself, man. That could be really helpful. And, yeah, I'm really like, do you know how well he's done the past few seasons? Because, I know the name, I know he does well, but I can't off the top of my head, remember, I have to imagine probably stage 2 the past 2 seasons. Does that sound about right?
Oh, I have to look it up. I have to get this right. I actually didn't go researching everyone. I went from memory and my opinions of the ninjas, less so than, a hardcore stats-based approach. So let's take a look. Last year, he made it to Wingnut Alley. And in season 9, he was on Wingnut Alley. So, I mean, he's right there at the top.
Yeah. Basically, he's at the wall that all the, all the top
exactly.
ninjas are at.
He's banging his head on that same wall as everybody else.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, at this point, a lot of the top ninjas have had 2 years to train and prepare for that one obstacle. I think, controversy or whatever aside, whatever they might change, I think we're going to see a lot, and I mean a lot more people completing that obstacle. All right, so before we go, I just want to, talk a little bit about the response from last week. We had great input from everybody, and I want to thank everybody who responded via YouTube, Twitter, email, and really shared their thoughts. Because honestly, when it comes to the whole National Ninja League Finals situation, there's so many opinions being flown around throughout the internet. And I really appreciate the fact that we got a lot of response in hearing about it. One particular comment I wanted to share with everybody, I'm going to really truncate it because it was a really long post. It was on our YouTube by Alex Rosenthal. And I think he really summed it up pretty well that I agree with. And the fact that he competed in the pro division and he fell on obstacle 3 of stage 1. But he really wanted to make it clear that while the obstacles were difficult, he thought they were fair, and he attributes a lot of the obstacle 1 fails to the fact that a lot of people overlooked it, that they thought it did look easier than it actually was. And that's fair. That's a fair assessment. I mean, he was there, I wasn't. I mean, so there you go. But one particular factor that I really want to share with with everybody is, and I quote, "There is also one big distinction to make: fair versus fun. Everything was fair. The rules were explained clearly and enforced consistently. The people who won earned it. Nothing was impossible for certain body types, etc. All the problems are that it would have been more fun to run and to watch if more people did well on stage 1. Not that it was any way unfair." And I really like that comment because that really encapsulates a lot of the dynamic of what's being said on the internet right now when it came to National Ninja League Finals. The course, although I have my own criticisms about the placement of certain obstacles, at no point were any obstacles unfair or cheap. There was a way to do them for all body types and everything involved, as Alex said. And at the end of the day, I understand fully that a lot of people's frustrations was the fact that it just wasn't fun to watch. Because it was so much, I guess, disappointment seeing your top ninjas one after the other failing. But the course at the end of the day was fair as a competition. Rich, share your thoughts.
I think that's a really good way of encapsulating it. Like you said, I think I gave all my opinions last week. I do want to express the same opinion I want to express the same gratitude for everyone reaching out and letting us know. I know it's been tough for a few people that attended or are big Ninja fans that were disappointed and want to share that disappointment without really bringing down the community as a whole, right? They want to basically express that, you know what, it was disappointing. They still had fun. They still had certain things, but there were still problems, and they just want those problems addressed. So hopefully everything's taken to heart. It sounds like it was. It sounds like that the NNL learned and will improve for next year, and I have every confidence in them to do that.
Mm-hmm. And I appreciate the fact that you said that, because on the other side, I think it is fair for people to have their criticisms and not be, just chastised for being negative about something. You can have your opinions as long as you're not nasty about it.
Yeah, everybody appreciated Drew's effort. I think even the most hardcore people bashing on it, I saw a lot of appreciation for the efforts that Drew put in. It was a huge event to put on, and overall was very successful. So just to reiterate that point as well.
Mm-hmm. Excited to see next year, man.
Yeah, it gets better every year.
Uh-huh.
And they're already planning it out. They've got all the stuff being lined up again, all the age categories broken out, I saw on Facebook. So if you're interested in competing NNL, make sure you check out National Ninja League on Facebook to get the latest on all of that. But that is it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as Rich at ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Instagram and Twitter. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Yeah, hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is Bijan 151.
All right, thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful week.
Peace, love, and deuces, y'all.